Well, joining me now is Daphne Caine, one of the MHKs for Garff, and well, we've been seeing you in the speaker's chair a bit recently. This is interesting because obviously when you're doing the speakers thing, you don't go onto boards, I understand, and departments. That's something you got an eye on. You've been enjoying that? Or?
I really enjoy the parliamentary process.
Yeah.
When I was studying the McGill University course, I was called a parliamentary process nerd, and I think it's quite apt. There's the structure of Parliament, how Parliament operates, is very important for good governance, accountability, and ensuring the strength of Parliament. And it does have that overseeing element that is necessary for good government.
Keeping everyone in order as well.
Absolutely. I haven't said order. Order.
Have you not said order?
No, haven't needed to.
Lovely. Well, let's look back on the first year first, and of this regime. So take us through what you've been up to.
Obviously, my main responsibility has been to chair the Climate Change Transformation Board. So a lot of my time has been taken up with working with a very hard-working team to put together the 5-year action plan, which under our Climate Change Act is a requirement that we have one in place at all times. And alongside that, we're setting interim targets. We're publishing the progress report for the first year. And although I was only involved for 6 months of that, and those will be going to Tynwald for approval at the October sitting.
So this is a really major piece of work as far as you're concerned. I know you're passionate about this, aren't you?
Yeah, it's really necessary for the Isle of Man. We are coming from a position where we've had 30 years of no action, and my inbox has never been busier, but it is a significant number of people who don't want us to take any action, don't believe it still, climate change deniers or delayers. And then I've got a lot of climate anxious people who have seen what's coming and are seriously worried for the future of our island and our planet. So it's, I think we can park that now. The science is not in doubt. Also, there are compelling economic and reputational reasons why we must take significant climate mitigation action. And in terms of having a current energy crisis and a cost of living crisis, actually reducing energy bills, yes, it'll lower emissions, but it will also save people money. So there has never been a bigger imperative to get on and do something.
So when you had this company wanting to drill for gas, this is nothing you're not in favour of that, I'm taking.
It's not to do with the Climate Change Board. That is a separate matter for government in terms of its energy and offshore practice and policies. Now, Tynwald has had a debate on this, as you'll know, and has I think it was unanimously supported, almost unanimously supported, that there will be no new licences granted for oil or gas extraction offshore.
Nobody else wants one. Only there's one company, I guess, is wanting
They've
it.
already progressed some way along those lines.
So
and
what
I
do
am
you
on
feel
record.
about that?
Well, I'm on record saying, from a climate perspective, it's an absolute no. You would not permit this. From a government income perspective, having had private investment come along, there is no government risk in this. The company has local investors putting their own money into in exploration. I personally am not convinced it will come to anything. I think it's a huge distraction in terms of what we need to do in climate action and for the island. But that is, for me, there's a separate strand now going along there.
If we're going to burn gas, is it not better just to burn our gas rather than buying it in a much more expensive
You've got
cost?
half an hour.
Okay, well, maybe we ought to test it too much.
In terms of now the extraction of gas is how easy is it to get out of the ground, or under the sea, how expensive is it to do that with all the climate mitigation measures the company is proposing to put into place to do this, how much would it raise our emissions by? Okay. In fact, how long is it going to be before we see any of that gas? And as the Isle of Man is transitioning away from gas for our energy generation, and in terms of future, I see Manx Gas is now proposing hydrogen gas mix potentially for the island. So I do wonder the timing of it. If it had been 20 years ago, yes. I don't see that it's such a bonus for the Isle of Man at this point, and there are so many other things, quicker wins that we should be doing, including renewable generation.
Sure. Well, park that for 1 second. Let's talk about Laxey and Garff, of course, your area. And you have had your climate change issues, of course, and things is ongoing. DOI been in there into the rivers, haven't they, to try and sort things out. Are you happy with the progress in that in last year? What's been going on?
There has been £9 million allocated to the climate funding this year, and that goes directly to DOI for the flood mitigation measures that they take. Yes, Laxey has seen a significant investment over the period since 2019 flood and also in 2015, and it is needed. The proof will be in the next pudding of the next downpour, significant rainfall event. But there are a number of residents still struggling to obtain house insurance for flood.
Still?
Yeah, and the potential is that they won't receive that unless and until there is a significant rainfall event which does not have the same impacts, or until Treasury manages to get the flood reinsurance signed up for the Isle of Man. But that has implications for everybody who pays household insurance. So there are a lot of things that we need to continue doing. If you look down in Laxey, there's some significant development going on by the river wall in front of the shore, but nothing's happened in the seawall. So we know that the Department for Infrastructure came to us many years ago with a draft to raise the seawall by 1.2 metres.
And you made a lovely drawing.
And I said it would be so much better to have a seawall that was decorative and also to put a seawall on the other side of the promenade so we didn't spoil the amenity that we were trying to protect. So there's still not been much movement on that. Having said that, the majority of issues that are raised with me in Garff at the minute have included road safety, particularly safety of school children getting to the Doon and to Laxey schools. There's a working party initiated and all the research undertaken by 2 Laxey mums. We're just about to have another meeting to go through the findings of that piece of research, working with the departments, the police, the cross-government. Hopefully we'll get some better active travel routes or road safety measures in place for that. I mean, there's similar problem in Onken, crossing the main road, accessing the school. But in Onken and in Mackald, it's been also the footpaths, the state of our public rights of way that has been a significant one. And of course, one of my duties in this last year has been to serve on the committee looking into the petition of David Buttery, looking into the maintenance of our footpaths, greenways, bridleways. So that report will be coming up for debate in Tynwald in the following month.
What about the sewage thing? Because that's sort of being through now, and that was a very expensive option, but no one was quite sure if it was the right one. But well,
no, I mean,
do you think it's that expensive? You think so?
The Best for Laxey Bay protest group, lobby group, has achieved a significant progress in that there is not going to be a waste sewage treatment facility in a historic harbour in Old Laxey. So that is a major breakthrough, if you like.
And you're on side with this?
I'm completely on side with that.
Right.
Now their position that I've supported, and as I put in my manifesto, if you're going to be pumping sewage up out of Old Laxey, across the main road, and from Baldrine, then wouldn't it be simpler to go the extra 4.6 miles or whatever it is to link Laxey, Baldrine with Onken, rather than pump Onken and Laxey up to an as yet undisclosed location above Laxey, we think, for a combined treatment works. But in any event, that is much better option than putting it in Old Laxey for treatment. Having said that, the cost of it, I don't think has been explained enough for me to feel confident that the additional £16.9 million that the Manx Utilities asked for, on top of the money already allocated for this scheme and Peel, I just wonder where we're going with that. And in terms of the best value for the island over the 100 years that the sewage system's going to be in place, I would support Best for Laxey Bay's suggestion and position that we need greater understanding of the finances.
And anything involving pumping, the cost is just going to go up and up as the price of electricity is going up.
By 2030, we're going to have renewably generated green and clean electricity. So it's not necessarily going to be cheaper, but in terms of the climate cost, in terms of what's the best for Laxey, you can't imagine the Victorians coming along and saying, oh, we'll go up here rather than we'll put it all pumped away under the road so you don't see it. There's also the added complication that in 2012, I think, or 2008, in fact, £800,000 was allocated to pay for the sewage main pipe to run between Onchan and Baldrine. That money was approved by Tynwald. So where did that allocation go, and when was the work done or not done?
Just to finish this section, when do you think anything's like to happen with this scheme?
We're waiting on Manx Utilities. The latest update that they've posted, they are looking into the environmental assessments, and they can't reveal yet where their location is until they've completed the purchase.
So we'll be talking about this next year, probably.
We will.
Okay. Part 2 coming up, looking ahead to next year.